So today's video, I wanted to go over like plans for the trim work that we're going to be adding to the entryway. I have a couple of ideas like in terms of the actual design for it. They're just like slightly different from each other, and it's evolved over time. Actually, I used to want one thing, but now I feel like that wouldn't quite fit, especially with the trim we already have, the existing trim, and like the doors and the way that they look and stuff like that. So I just want to be really intentional and purposeful when it comes to what we're going to be doing for the trim work in here. I do think it'll add that extra layer of texture and interest to the hallway, because I don't want it to be too busy in here or anything, but I do feel like it's like flat. It's kind of lacking things, and obviously I haven't fully decorated the area yet or put all the final pieces together yet, but I do feel like that having that little feature will just add an extra nice layer visually to the hallway, and I like that custom look anyways. So what I want to do is I want to kind of show you and tape up like the two sort of ideas that I have for the trim, and then we're going to kind of live with it for just a little bit, so that way my husband and I can really like walk past it every day, see what one we kind of like more. And I'm just going to do that with painter's tape, and I'll show you the trim pieces I found actually at Home Depot, which aren't bad, because I was kind of playing with some. When my mom was visiting, we went and looked around Home Depot, and I was pulling some trim pieces and stuff together, because I want some of it to match some of the like the door frames and stuff, because like I said, I want it to look like it's purposeful, like it was here already, not something that I just like added on top and doesn't match anything or go with anything. And I just feel like that's going to look the best in the end, final result. And then, as you know too, we have these bullnose corners. So they're rounded, and a friend of ours actually had told me about trim that they had made, like make for that. And I didn't know that like existed until then, because I was worried about the actual angles and getting around that piece and all that stuff and how I was going to figure out how to do that. But so he told me about it, and we found some that like the profile is very similar to the other trim. So I think it'll go really well in terms of that. And I still have to look through some of the trim pieces at Home Depot. So when we get closer to actually choosing the final choosing of the trims style, I'll take you to Home Depot with us, and we'll look through all of the stuff that they have there. I did forget one piece though when I was there. They're for like frames almost. They look like little frames on the wall, and I forget the name of it. It's like shadow box trim or something like that, and you use a certain type of trims like finger joint molding or something like that. And I didn't pick up any of that. I just have quarter rounded shoe molding for the bottom of the baseboards to finish those out, and the top piece and the rounded corners. So I'll show you these really quick on what we got for that, a little more up close. Okay, so I kind of came to one of the bullnose edges so I can show you those pieces. But I wanted to explain also, I'm going to be doing the whole trim like through the main part of the entryway before you go under the arch into the rest of the house, and through here. So I want to keep these two spaces connected, and you know, go with each other, because once you pass through the opening for the rest of the house, that feels like a separate space to me, whereas this over here feels like the same sort of area, even though it's like around a corner. So I'm going to be putting the trim throughout this way and over here with all the doors and stuff. Okay, so here is that trim again, the bigger, bulkier piece that I'll be using. think I'll be using, unless I change my mind. But when we picked this one up, I thought this was like pretty exact. I didn't have like a picture to really look at of the trim. We were literally just walking around looking at all of it. And what I came to find out when I brought it home was that the profile is actually incorrect. You see this, how this has a slight curvature here throughout the middle. Actually, the trim and that I want to match, that's like the door casings and stuff, is flat. It's flat right there in the center. So I think I know which piece I need to go back to next. I saved it on my like list for Home Depot, so I know exactly like what aisle and bay and everything it's in. But I'm gonna get a piece of that and bring it home and make sure it matches and is like the right size and everything, because I definitely want it to be the same. And this piece would be the piece that would go around the top portion of like the wall and for all of the trim, because it thinks similarly to like chair rail and stuff, you know how it's just like in the middle of the wall, not as low as that or like wainscoting or anything. I do want mine to be a bit higher, maybe picture ledgy like high, but just higher. I just like that a lot more, and then it gives us like a good amount of room down below too to do the other little trim works like the shadow box frames and things like that I'm trying to visualize how I want done. But this basically will go along here, and then you've got your corner piece that looks like this, you know, or we might have to find one that's like straight down, because this isn't quite the right profile either for the bottom half of the trim. So it might just be piecing stuff together, or if I can find one that's just straight down, then routering at the right spot to get the same profile shouldn't be too difficult, I wouldn't think, or whatever, if routering is the correct thing I'm thinking, which I think it is. But anyway, then it would just kind of like connect up here, go around, and then go around this side, and then continue with, you know, whatever other pieces. But I want it to look the same, you know, with the lines and like meet up and just look like one continuous piece. Now, if you look at the baseboards, which I'll show you here soon, and the corners for these, they're done like a different way. Basically, they take like pretend this is a baseboard, they take that and they cut like a small piece, and then they angle it in just a little bit, and then they put that together on the corner, and then they continue the trim on the other side. And it's a little bit more math than I'm sure I could do it and everything, but if I can find the right piece that's already rounded, why? Like, why make it harder on myself, especially when I'm really not that great at math? So, or angles, you know, or understanding that sometimes it takes me a minute. So I think if I can find something like this, that'll make my life easier for the top halves. And I'll just be going around like these two sides and these two. So just this opening, because we're gonna stop at that opening over there before, well, actually it might be the first two bits there too, and then we'll stop at that one side. But I haven't quite decided if I want to go to the opening on that side where it transitions into the other space, or on this inner part of the arch to this side and stop. I still haven't quite decided exactly how I want to end the trim yet either. I probably will go inside because I painted the inside of the arches to match, you know, the entryway. So that'll take some figuring out and what looks visually the best, I think. And I probably won't know that until we get there and are about to be like finishing up that side of the trim or something. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you the baseboard bits and stuff like that, so that way you can see those pieces as well. And then I'll kind of show you a little bit of what I'm thinking, and then we're gonna start taping stuff up. And I'm gonna put one design, I think, on one wall that's blank, and then I'll do the other style on the other wall that's blank over here, so that way we can kind of live with it for a little bit. Okay, so here's it's not perfect, but here's one of the bullnose edges and with the actual baseboard that they had put on. So if you can see, it's basically the same trim as this, but they have to like angle it in this way to go around the corner properly, if that makes sense. Like, and I don't remember the actual like angle. It's obviously not a 45, but I think it's smaller. I am not positive. I'd have to look up what I had read before, but that to me just seemed like such a challenge to get around. So with the like corner, like look at how much better that looks. And then, obviously the caulking or all that would go in here and it would just like look nice and clean. And I think if we can get, like I said, the profile of this to match the same profile of the trim that I would want to find for, the top, then that will be perfect. I don't know. I just think these are genius. Okay, and then just to show you also, so I think I'm gonna go, I already decided what I wanna go with, because if you can see, they didn't actually finish out the baseboard parts. And I think that the bottom, like the shoe molding, or even if you wanted to go something like quarter round, or even if you just wanted to like put something even just thinner here, it finishes it off so much better and cleaner, and it looks better for the transition to the floor, in my opinion. So here's the quarter round, which to me, that's just too big. I don't love that at all. I got it just in case because I wanted to see. And the shoe molding is a lot thinner and skinnier. And I just think that looks better. But you see how much cleaner that looks in comparison to like none. And then, you just paint it the same as the rest of this. I don't know. I like that. I think that looks good. So we've got basically the top. Okay, because I want like a nice piece on the top half of the wall. And it'll go with the same like size as these, or not the bottom, but as the frames on the doors, so that it'll be like the same, not too chunky, not too skinny. So we'll have it on the top, and then imagine like here's a corner. Okay, pretend it's around a corner. And around a corner. And then I do want to do like the shoebox molding, like a picture frame. So I'm going to put, just for pretend here, here's it would actually go in this way. We're going to use these to kind of visualize here. So then we'll put like the picture frame molding situation underneath it. But I've got two ideas for how we could do underneath the top. And I'm going to go ahead and tape all that up. And so you can kind of see what I'm saying. So another thing I kind of wanted to mention really quick too about the trim. If you have like, light switches or outlets and things like that in the way, I've done so much research and there's so much like opinions, I feel like, for that. Let me get the trim here. Like in terms of how to finish it out, or like if you run into one. A lot of people I see try to do like where they take their trim and they like wherever, their box is ending or what have you, and they just kind of like butt it up on either side. I don't like that at all. And it's not very professional looking, in my opinion. One that I think I will do if I run into this problem where my box, say it's coming like to here, and the end of my box is like right at this edge, and I would need to come down, you know, this way for the vertical parts of the box. What I think I'm going to do is, and the one I think I like a lot, is where they have the box, they come down, but then they come back through, they come back through here and around and then down. So I think I might end up doing something like that, or you would almost like frame this. There's like a lot of little different ones. So I'm gonna look into like each one of those, and then I'll try to figure out exactly what I want to do. But I think I kind of already know that I want to just go like around it. A lot of like images I was looking at for the trim and stuff, a lot of them did that, and it actually doesn't look bad. It looked really nice and clean, which I like, because then it's not, you're not just, and you might have to pop the thing out a little, I'm not sure. So we'll just see how thick, you know, of whatever it's going to be, and if it really works out or not. But yeah, it'll be an idea that I'll play with, because you could just like put, you know, pop it out into the trim and everything too, or you could move a switch over. But obviously with all the walls already being done in here, I don't want to move anything. And we want to try to keep this as budget friendly as possible while we continue to you know, redo the hallway. So I just feel like if I can find an option that looks really good, looks professional, and isn't like, you know, oh, you know, you have this edge here and it just doesn't look good.
Oh, to be a kid again, to feel the sun upon my skin, to laugh and play until the sun goes down. Oh, to feel the little joys, to never make one single choice, and know that nothing's gonna stress me out. Oh, at least for now. Oh, to be a kid again, to feel the breeze creep up my skin, to be so full of life and without care. Oh, to love the little things, the ones that we can't seem to see, 'cause everyone around us has gone blind. Oh, we're not sure why. how you cross my mind. Honey, it's true, I think about you all the time. I recall we went walking in the autumn breeze. Your eyes danced when you saw the color of the leaves. How do you fish out a well from a river so shallow? Reach in and pull light from a thicket so hollow.
All right, so I brought you to my computer because you've already kind of seen the visuals of what I'm hoping to like live with for a minute, to like make final decisions on the actual like layout of all the molding that we're wanting to do and all the trim. But I want to show you like some of the inspiration pictures that I found that kind of led me to what I'm wanting, I think, for the trim. So obviously also when I was taping all that stuff, I was really eyeballing a lot of it. The only thing that I kind of measured was how high. Because this is not like the final layout, so I don't know how many boxes it will be. I don't know, you know, in terms of all the measurements and the in-between areas and everything just yet. I just wanted to get it up onto the wall so I could see it, and then my husband could see it, because I can visualize a lot of things in my head, but I think my husband has a hard time with that. And so to make final decisions, I like to try to see as much as possible outside of my head to see if it actually works. Sometimes what you think in your head isn't working at all in real life. So I wanted to take you to the computer really quickly and just show you the inspiration and things like that. That way you can kind of see exactly what I'm leaning towards, and you know, just a different visual, I suppose. Now, I will be color drenching all of it the same color, that sculptor clay color, because I don't want it to be a pop of its own color. I was debating on just slightly darkening that color, like maybe going 25% darker for the trim, so there's a slight difference. But I think I'm just gonna go with keeping it all the same, because I want it to be an added layer. I don't want it to be a statement. I love my rug being a statement in there, and then the potential artwork that I'll be placing in there. Those are the statement pieces and the grounding pieces. I just wanted an extra layer of texture and things like that on the walls. So originally I was sort of wanting to go with something very similar to this, which was basically, I felt like it was just a little bit more of a modern, like board and batten look. It was really clean, very like crispy lines and everything. But this is what I was thinking. I didn't end up choosing because of thinking it wouldn't go with, you know, the rest of the trim styles and things. I just wasn't sold on it. And so instead, okay, so here's this dining room. I thought it would be better to just stick with the similar trim and do something more like this, which is like shadow box molding. Now this one isn't as tall as I would want to have mine, but this is just one visual where you've got like the top piece of the molding and then the little boxes down below that are like nicely spread out and placed. And then I can only imagine how deep they go actually. Here's another visual of the same dining room. And so they go down, they're like pretty centered within that space, but I thought with how tall I wanted mine, I wanted there to be like a little bit of a gap between the top and the bottom. As you saw on there, now that might have been too big of a gap, but do you see what I'm saying? Like just closer to the bottom versus closer to the top, in terms of the boxes themselves on the top and bottom edges. And as you can tell with this one in this dining room as well, it's color drenched in the same color. So that same idea. Now, if we go back and I show you, this one here has the 2 boxes. So pay attention just mostly to the green. This is just showing like they make some pre-made ones that you could like buy and then put on your wall. But I liked that there were two boxes, you know, like one on the top that's smaller and then the elongated one on the bottom. I thought that would be a really good idea, really cute, you know, trim or what have you. If we scroll down, here's a better image of it so you can kind of see the longer picture. And that's kind of what the other style and idea that I had was. Now, again, I'm not entirely certain yet on the actual trim pieces for the little boxes, the little frames. I don't know if I'm going to use basically the same trim that I do along the top. I was thinking I wanted it skinnier, but I'm not sure. Now that you kind of can see, I feel like you can get a little bit better of an idea of what I was kind of leaning towards within those 2 styles. They're very similar, they're very simple. I didn't want to do anything too ornate or too crazy. Again, I don't want it to be a statement. And I have a tendency sometimes to like overdo or keep adding, keep doing, you know, or something like that. And I don't want that to happen with this. I really just want to keep it, like I said, just simple and pretty and just an added little layer that's just soft and goes along with the walls and just the rest of the trim. And I just think that will be really beautiful added texture and added layer to the hallway, to the entry. Now we do want to try to keep this on very budget friendly. So I'm going to try to share with you what I'm getting and why I'm getting stuff in more videos, upcoming videos, when we really start to get all the trim pieces and we kind of decide on the style we're leaning towards. I already think I know which one, but I want to know what you guys think, and I really want to see your guys' opinions on both styles. What do you like more? Do you like the one with the double boxes? Do you like the one with just a single box? Maybe making it a little taller, whatever, tweaks, you know, just all of your thoughts. I want to hear them, you know, because maybe you think of something that I did not. So I'm definitely interested to hear from you. My husband and I are going to live with the tape on the walls for a bit and just kind of decide exactly which one we're going to choose. I did, in case you missed it, I do have an Entryway series. It's a little playlist. If you want to kind of catch up, if you're new to the channel or anything, and you wanted to kind of see where we started with the hallway, and where we are now, and just kind of that transition a little bit. There is a little Entryway series where we skim coated all the walls and everything. Now, I don't think that that's necessary if you really, really want to do something like this yourself. And you have like textured walls, I don't think you really need to skim coat. I just prefer that look a lot better. I think it's cleaner. I think it's more professional underneath trim. But, you know, to each their own, right? That's all kind of subjective. It's whatever you like, whatever you think would be good. So you don't have to do everything like I did it and all the steps, but I do think that that's, you know, that does look nice. And obviously it's not perfect. You saw like some of the little areas anyway. But yeah, so if you want to watch like the first few episodes, especially where I've skim coated and all the painting and the color drenching and those choices and things like that and my thought processes, I'll definitely leave those linked in the video below. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video today. We're just kind of, we have a lot going on. We have a lot of plans for the basement. We're trying to figure out where to start with a lot of that stuff. That's why I haven't filmed anything yet for it. We have a lot of cleaning out to do, which I might share a little bit with you. Maybe we'll do a couple of vlogs or something, just so you can kind of see like where it starts and, you know, whatever, and I can get footage for where we began to when we end. But for now, I'm just trying to do little projects here and there so we can move forward on the basement, and when we get to an area where we're comfortable with starting it and we know where to begin, then, you know, I'll start sharing those videos with you too. But we're still doing the entryway too, so I'm trying to put all those videos together for you and keep that moving as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think in terms of the trim and my plans and all that stuff. So until a couple of Tuesdays, I'll see you later. Bye. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited about moving forward this holiday and seeing it. Now that I've got the tape on the walls, I'm like, this is gonna be cute. Oh my god, do you guys want to see the sequins? Here we've got, you know, the chives and the basil babies, chervil